Hey, it's Steve Coughran. I'm the founder of Boosting Your Financial IQ, and in this episode, I'm going to tell you how I tripled my income in less than 24 months. Now, if you're looking for a get-rich-quick video, you could go ahead and close it right now because what I'm about to tell you takes grit, takes a lot of hard work, but that's the good news. That shouldn't scare you. If you're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, it's not sustainable. I'll tell you that, it's not sustainable. And if you get rich quick by some unsustainable mean, guess what? You can get poor just as quick. So I'm going to teach you principles that will endure. And endurance comes from hard work, and it's subscribing to principles that are sustainable. Let's jump in. Let me tell you my story. This is my story. This is my path. Maybe you could triple your income or quintuple it or whatever it is in 12 months or 6 months, whatever it is. But it took me 24 months, and it was an extremely productive period in my life when I was laser focused and I was really growing quickly, personally and professionally. And it was such an exciting time. It was hard, right? It was really hard. I was sleep deprived. I was working really diligently. I was super focused. Now I get to benefit from those fruits, and I established a foundation that I could build upon, and I continue to build upon every single day. All right, so I'm going to walk you through the things that work for me, and then you can apply your own touch to it. And I want to hear from you in the comments below. I want to know what things work for you, right? This is my approach, but what works for you? What advice do you have to give and to share with the world? So make sure you do that because other subscribers just like you want to hear your story as well. So let me tell you my path. This is my story, and maybe you could adapt it or learn some things or apply some of these principles in your own life to live a better financial or a more abundant overall life. So number one, this is what I did to triple my income. The first thing I did is I created a plan. All right, I've always been a goal setter. Ever since I was young, I set goals. But I also like to create plans. And there's something about writing things down. Now, I've tried all different types of things. I've tried typing it into the notes in my phone. I have an Apple phone, you know the app, the notes. I've tried typing things into it. But there's something powerful about actually writing it down. So writing it down connects your hand with your thoughts. So when you're writing it down, your mind is thinking it, you're saying it, you're spelling it, and just something about that helps you to manifest it in a more tangible way. So write down a plan. In your plan, you're going to want to be very specific. Specificity is really, really important. If you can't smell it, taste it, feel it, envision it, whatever it is, then it's going to be really hard for you to go out there and set your mind to it. So the more specific, the better. That's when you start to manifest things really, really fast, is when you can wrap your mind around what you're actually looking for. And then your subconscious mind can go to work for you, and it can start to look for things and patterns that will be attracted and brought into your life. It's kind of like buying a car. Before I bought my Volvo XC90, I didn't even know what the heck it was. I knew who Volvo was, but I didn't know what that SUV even looked like. Then once I bought it, I see them all over the place. So the same kind of thing is true with us. When we set our minds on something, if we say, hey, we want this and this is exactly what we want, then your mind will start to look for things and look for patterns and look for people to attract into your life in order to manifest it. So creating a plan is really, really critical. And that's the first starting point. Now remember, you have to be flexible on your plan because some of the best things that have happened to me were never written in my plan, but it's the habit of writing down and determining your direction in life. Okay, so that's the first thing that you're going to want to do. So when you're writing your plan, make sure you start with your purpose because you want it to be grounded in your life's purpose. What are you all about? Start with the why, and then start spelling out exactly what do you want to do and how you're going to accomplish this. Don't get too crazy with your plan, okay? You can just struggle at this phase and take forever to finish the plan because you get so caught up into the details of writing it. You're Googling things, you're looking for templates, you're doing all this stuff, you're wasting all this time. Don't do that, okay? Just write down a plan, then build from it. So just get started, okay? That's the first thing that I did. I created a plan, and I looked at my life at that time and I said, hey, Steve, in order to get to where you want to go, you're going to have to go acquire more education. I had my undergraduate degree, I had my master's degree in accounting, but look, I had to step up my game. I was advising successful CEOs and entrepreneurs, And I had to expand my knowledge and get more exposure to an international world. So I realized, look, I have to go get more education. That was important to me, and I had to get education from a really good school. Okay, so I wrote that down. I needed more international exposure. My universe was so small at the time, and I wanted to travel around and see more of the world because I thought this would make me more of an empathetic person, which it did, and it would give me more exposure to diverse skill sets and to a variety of people. So also my plan, I identified my different roles as a father, as a husband, as a brother, as a son, as a professional, as a mentor, and all my different roles in life. I described exactly, okay, where am I today and where do I want to go in these different roles that I'm living? So that was the framework of my plan. So after I wrote this plan, the second thing I did was I invested in my education. So for me, it was going and getting an MBA from a top school, and that MBA included international studies. That was really, really critical. So I killed two birds with one stone there. So I killed two birds with one stone by going to school, getting my MBA from a program that offered international exposure. Okay, but investing in education, for me, that's what I needed. I needed an MBA. I wanted to learn more about strategy. I wanted to see the broader world. I wanted to see how business operated in Asia and Europe and South America and just all over the world. So that was important to me. Now, education for you may not mean going to a traditional school. When I was growing up, I had a teacher that said, don't let school interfere with your education. And that just really stuck with me. For you, it may mean watching YouTube videos like this one to learn new skills, or listening to a podcast, or an audiobook, or reading, or going to the library, or talking to people, or traveling. Whatever education means to you, okay, make sure you do it. Because you can never stop learning. You have to continue to progress. The day you stop learning is when you start sliding backwards. So invest in your education and learn new things. Now, here's something you may or may not want to hear. When I was going to get my MBA, I didn't have time. So just like you may be saying to yourself, I don't have time to go get a degree, or I don't have time to listen to a podcast or to watch videos. I'm so busy. Well, guess what? I could have used that same exact excuse. Do you know when I went and got my MBA, I was running my consulting business, which included traveling all over the country. I was speaking nationally at conferences. So I was flying around all the time, delivering these keynote speeches. I had kids. I had two kids by the time I got done with my program. I was training for a marathon. I ran a full marathon. I wrote a second book. I did all these things during this time while being super involved as a family man and in my church. I don't say all that to brag or to come across as some superhero. I bring that up because we could all come up with excuses. Time's gonna pass regardless. So it's like, just go out there, grind, work hard, study hard. And during that time, I was super sleep deprived. I was getting like 4, 5, 6 hours of sleep at night. When I got 7 hours of sleep, it was this huge thing for me. I was super sleep deprived, and I was just working so hard. Sometimes my body hurt. I was trying to take care of myself physically, mentally, emotionally. I was just interesting period of growth. But during those most challenging times, that's when we learn the most. So that's what I recommend for you, is just go out there, grind it out, like do what it takes to educate yourself and to learn new things. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3 is, once you learn these things, okay, you can get an education but not gain new skills, ironically. You have to gain new skills. I remember I was at the CFO forum at MIT in Boston, and this professor was talking to the group, and he said, look, invest in skills, not that the world needs right now, but what the world will need in 10 to 15 years. And I thought that was such great advice. I wrote that down, I underlined it, and at that point I said, look, as a CFO, in order for me to be successful moving forward, I have to up my game in data analytics. I have to learn technology. Okay, I want to learn how to code. I want to learn how technology works behind the scenes. I have to improve my communication skills. And those are the 3 areas that I really focused on during that time as well. So I went to a course out in California through Duarte, one of the best communication companies out there. And I learned how to speak and how to tell stories. And you may be listening to this and you may be thinking, hey, I got a long way to go. And that may be true. Trust me, I'm always learning how to communicate better. I'm not the best at it, but I'm way better than where I was. I learned data analytics. I incorporated that into my business, into my investing strategies, which was huge. And then I also learned technology. I created an app for strategy management. So I upskilled myself and I learned new things. You don't have to learn things in those specific areas, but the key is to learn and build new skills that the world will demand in the future. Because the world is changing so quickly. And the jobs of today, a lot of them won't even be around in the future because of automation and artificial intelligence and other technologies. So make sure you are investing in yourself, you're building skill sets and capabilities that the world will need. And that was huge for me. Number 4, I strengthened my mindset. The number one thing that holds people back is what's up here. Okay? It's what's up here. It's the mindset. It's what's between our ears is what holds us back. And for me, I needed a new mindset. I was operating off limiting beliefs, off scarcity. I was thinking about the world in a very negative way sometimes, and I had to change that. I had to shift that. So I learned how to reframe my thoughts, and I did a lot of work. I was journaling, I was writing things out. I was feeling pain, I was dealing with it, and it was difficult. I was dealing with some personal issues at the time, and I just had to reframe my mind, okay? And I had to strengthen my mind. And a lot of that strengthening came through not just journaling, but meditation and prayer, and interesting enough, training for a marathon. So training for a marathon was huge for me because it forced me to get out there and do things that I didn't want to do. And this carried over in other parts of my life. So when I was training for a marathon, I was running the marathon in the summer. So that meant I was training in the winter. And I didn't miss maybe more than 5 days. And the only days that I missed in the winter was when it was super icy and I couldn't even run on the path, or it was below like 5 degrees outside. So when it was like super freezing. But other than that, I was out there super early in the morning, sometimes at 4 in the morning, just so I could get a 20-mile run in before I got into work at 7 in the morning. So that was a great thing that strengthened my mindset. What works for you though? Like what are some of your thoughts? Think about that. There may be other activities that you engage in. Maybe you like to play tennis, or you golf, or you snowboard or surf, or maybe it's not even athletic. Maybe it's you strengthen your mindset through writing like I did, and you just write things out, or by talking to people, or whatever it may be. But prayer is huge for me. Meditation is great for a lot of people. But whatever it is, learn how to strengthen your mindset. And sometimes doing really, really hard things strengthens our mindset because our mind is like a muscle. So when I was running out there, it's like, hey, I don't feel like running. It's super cold out there. I'm tired, but I'd do it anyways. But then that carried over in other parts of my life. So when it's like, hey, I should reach out to this person, it's like, I don't feel like doing it. My mindset would kick in and say, look, you can do hard things. You ran a marathon. You trained for a marathon. You can make this phone call. And I did that. So strengthen your mindset, because without strengthening your mindset, your limiting beliefs are going to creep in. And the small side of you, the ego, is going to take over and it's going to sabotage your efforts. That is a critical thing that you must do if you want to triple your income. Number 5 is investing in relationships. Have you ever ran into somebody randomly at the store or when you're out and about and you're like, oh, that's crazy. Like, what a coincidence. I don't believe that there's such thing as coincidences. I think everything is part of a divine design. And for you, investing in relationships is really critical because you never know how that relationship is going to impact the rest of your life. In order to invest in relationships, you have to get outside yourself. And I get so caught into this trap because I'll work, I'm grinding and I just get so into what I'm doing that I forget, look, the world doesn't revolve around me. So I got to be better about that. And oftentimes when we're like depressed and we're struggling, it's because we're so into our head. We're so focused on what's going on with us that we fail to recognize that there are other people in this world that are dealing with issues, and we could be a huge blessing in their lives. So invest in people, get outside yourself, really genuinely care about relationships. If you're the type of person and you're going to networking events and you're just looking for the smartest person, the best looking person in the room, the most powerful person, and you just want to talk to them, you're making a huge mistake. Because number one, you never know who you're talking to, and you never know where they're going to be going in the coming years. So I remember going to networking events and I'd come across those people. And if they're talking with you and you don't benefit them in some way, they're like on to the next person. Or they're talking to you, but they're looking past you and their eyes aren't even focused on you. And it's like, you know what? Not even interested. and those types of people. So don't be like that. Be genuine in your relationships and try to influence people for the better. Be an agent for good. And that means not spreading toxicity. It's being a good influence in people's lives. Part of building better relationships and investing in them is asking better questions. Everybody likes when you ask questions, and I'm surprised out there in the world how many people don't ask questions. It's like you have a conversation with somebody, they just talk all about themselves, or they talk about random stuff that you don't even care about, right? So for me, it's like ask questions about people, but don't ask questions just to like answer with your own response or to like challenge them. Ask them questions to understand them. Start with empathy. Ask some really good questions and your life will change. Ask really good questions and your salary is going to increase because you're going to be more curious and you're going to drive greater value. You're going to come up with better ideas. So asking questions is a huge part of investing in a relationship. The other reason why I bring this up is because you can be successful and triple your income and then give half of it away if you don't invest in your relationships. If you're married and you get divorced, guess what? You're giving up half of your money. So you want to make sure that you're building great relationships. You don't want to have kids that feel neglected and then later on you have to rectify like substance abuse problems or other things, which is going to eat up your time and impact your ability to go out there and drive value and have impact. So invest in your relationships right now and it'll make all the difference in the world. But make sure you're investing in the relationships to receive nothing in return, okay? Just invest in relationships because people are amazing. Invest in relationships because humankind is beautiful. And that's where value is going to come from. Opportunities come from people, not from things. Opportunities come from people, not from things. I have to repeat that because all the opportunities to grow my income, to take on different roles have come from my relationships with people or an introduction from somebody else or whatever it may be, but it all centers around people. The last thing, number 6, the 6th thing that I did to triple my income in less than 24 months was to ask. To ask for it. Isn't that crazy? There's so many people that are caught in these jobs and they complain about how much money they make or they don't make. And then I say to them, have you ever talked to your boss? Do you ever just go ask for more money? Do you ever ask your clients for more money? Do you ever raise your prices because you're driving more value to the end user? So ask. Whatever you're looking for, ask, and you shall receive. You have to ask, and then you have to believe that you're going to receive, and then you have to get out there and work your butt off. And that's what I've been talking about this whole video. We live in a world where everybody wants fast, instant gratification, and that's just not the case. You have to get out there and really grind and really work for it. And there's value in that because it's going to instill in you a work ethic that will carry over in all different parts of your life. But asking is crazy. So try this, okay? Because I play this game sometimes. I did this game with my kids when I was in California. I said, look, I'm going to try to save 50 bucks. And they're like, okay, how are you going to save 50 bucks? The way I did it is I just asked for different discounts. So one of my kids, he was buying sunglasses. When he was about to pay, I said, hey, is there any discount you can offer him? And she was like, oh, I don't know. And I said, come on, you could really help him out. And he's using his own allowance to buy these glasses, and which he was. And she said, yes, I'll go ahead and give him a discount. And I was like, sweet. Okay, I added that up. And then I kept doing that throughout the day. And I found ways to get things for free or to get discounts on things just by asking. Okay, now you don't want to be the person who just asks and asks and asks. That goes back to point number 5, which is investing in relationships to get nothing in return. So you don't want to invest in relationships so you can ask them for things. I'm talking about asking the universe, asking God, asking the world, asking whoever, your friends, your contacts, your network, your universe. Ask for what you want and then expect to receive. And look, if you ask and you're not receiving, you have to be patient because this has happened to me over and over again in my life. And every time I ask and I don't receive, it's because either I wasn't ready for it, I wasn't prepared to receive, or something better, more beautiful is coming my way. So many times, the blessings that have come into my life have come because I've asked for them. And sometimes we just simply don't ask, which goes back to number 1, setting a plan and knowing what you're trying to achieve. Then you'll know what to ask for. Number 2 is investing in your education. Number 3, building skills that the world needs, that the world values. Number 4, strengthening your mindset, taking time to meditate, to pray, to write in your journal, doing hard things in your life, really working on your emotional state, getting therapy. There's nothing wrong with going through therapy. All these things, these professionals can be a great support for you, but whatever it is, like strengthen your mindset. Number 5, invest in relationships and do it for no other reason but to be an agent for good in this world. Don't ask for things from people and be a total user. Don't be that. And then number 6, ask the universe. Ask God. Ask for things that you want and expect to receive. And if you don't receive, be patient because good things are coming your way. These are the steps that I took and the principles that I subscribe to in order to radically change my life. Just one benefit was tripling my income. But there are so many other benefits that came from following these principles, and I continue to follow these principles to this day. And it's just this iterative cycle that I follow. If you got value out of this video, it would mean the world to me if number 1, you like it, number 2, you leave comments below, and then number 3, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you get notified every time I drop a video just like this. And if you're a member of the Boosting Your Financial IQ community, that's great. If not, go to byfiq.com right now so you can join one of our communities, because there you're going to gain the support. You'll have access to tools and videos, a Q&A forum, you'll get growth challenges, and you'll have access to this exclusive network of like-minded, ambitious peers who will help you along your journey to live a better, more productive life. So thanks for joining me, and in the meantime, take care of yourself.